This is York's only local show on York's only local station. This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Listen to your show every day. It's really good.
I have you guys on every morning to wake up to.
Gary Sutton, mornings 6 to 9 on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK.
All the things you're talking about are all things we're talking about. It's Main Street America every day. And you're getting your money's worth.
You're a brilliant mind, tremendous experience. You're great for the community.
The Gary Sutton Show on York's first station, WOYK.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
Now, broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park, here's Gary Sutton.
You know, we're working every second right up until, well, now, actually. Anyway, welcome and good morning. It is a Monday morning on the Gary Sutton Show. Gary still, he will be back tomorrow. And just so you know, we have Friday off. So there's that. So fill it into your calendar if you need to. We're lucky enough here, though, to have as our guest host once again, Jamie Norpel, president of, is that your official, is it president?
I go by director.
Director of the York County Safety Collab. And is it collaborative or collab?
We shorten it to just collab.
Yeah, it's a few less syllables. That helps out. So here we are again. And I don't know, how was your weekend?
Well, Mark, last week I shared that we were going to a house auction.
Yes.
We got it.
Did you?
We did.
Oh. So, what were the lessons learned here?
Well, it was fascinating. So it's over in East Berlin, and it's a historic house from 1750. So it's exciting for me as a historian. We show up, and there's all these people here, and they're all older. And I think there's no way we're going to get this. There's old money here, basically,
right,
and we won't be able to compete. We're going to be priced out. There's also an auction at 5 o'clock on a Thursday. So there weren't a lot of young people. We were the 10th person to sign up. And then as they started bidding, it just got lower and lower and lower. And to the point where the owner actually wouldn't accept our offer. We were the highest bidder. Wow. So we had to go in and negotiate, and she got us up a decent amount more. Still less, though, than the listing price. So we are very excited.
Did they give you, I don't know, did you have a real estate agent? Or
No. I'm fortunate to have married a husband who's self-taught and learned a lot about all this. And we have been looking for houses now for a number of months. And this came across. We're not townies, but this is in town. We couldn't pass it up because it has a beautiful historic barn. It's just gorgeous. So thankfully we did our research. We did walk through a few weeks ahead of time, kind of at least generally know what we're getting into. And I figure, hey, if the house is still standing from 1750, probably going to still
really?
Yeah. Probably still be standing for a good bit after this too.
Well, so when do you think will be the next time you see him?
See the house?
Yeah, no, him, because he'll be preparing this thing. Right? No.
You know, what's funny is our house, in Newberrytown got hit by a car a few years ago, and we're still in the midst of those repairs too. And we're living in an apartment right now in Dover. So my, request is that we don't pay 3 mortgages once August hits.
Well, you're juggling lots of things, but you have confidence in your abilities. So there's that. And you didn't, I'm sure other people told you this wasn't the way to go, but experience taught you differently.
You know, we just kind of make our own choices, and we've renovated a few different houses and apartments now at this point. I say I did about 1% of the work, let's be honest. I can change an outlet. And of course, I'm very good at painting, and I'm a very good assistant. Generally, I understand how construction works. So yeah, I'm very grateful. So that was all we talked about pretty much all weekend was how are we moving out and how are we changing things. It's going to be one heck of a 2026.
What's the biggest change you think you're going to make to this home that has probably seen lots of changes since the 1700s? Yeah,
the bathrooms are horrid. It kept a lot of the historical integrity, down to the paint colors.
So what does that mean? You have to put pipes in it or something?
I hope not. We will find out when we lift up the carpet. It was sold as is, which is one of the reasons why we got a good price.
Interesting. So it came at a cost.
We'll find out. It's a journey.
All right. Well, I had I had an interesting week. I worked a lot over the weekend. I have a part-time job and played golf in the same day, which was probably a little bit of a mistake. I'm very sore this morning. So, but we're going to make it through. And, the big story of the week is going to be the heat. We've heard, stories about in Europe and particularly France, 1,000 deaths, more than that, I believe. And it's really hit them hard. And here we have an excessive heat warning. We've been told, this is pretty rare. We got told today, or actually late yesterday, that we have a 3-day excessive heat watch. And it begins on Wednesday. And Wednesday, 101, I believe, is the anticipated high. And very close to that on Thursday. Friday up to 104. So
watch out.
That's right. Be aware of what's happening this week. We do have our usual guests today, a lot of them. Excuse me. And let's get to the days. Today is camera day. Now, back in the day, that meant an actual camera. With film that you had to send away to get developed or maybe bring it down to a drugstore. These days, you don't have to do any of that. You just have it on your phone. I imagine with the children, you have lots of pictures, right?
I do. Yeah, people don't carry cameras anymore. It makes me think of in high school when your math teacher said, "Are you really going to be carrying around a calculator in your pocket? You need to learn this math." And it still behooves you to understand basic math, of course. But now we carry everything around in our phones in our pockets.
But I want to know, out of all the pictures, do you look at those pictures?
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. It was so my cat died a few months ago, and I went back and I looked at all the photos, and it gave me a lot of solace and it soothed a lot of pain. And and I look back at my my son as he has aged over the years, but I have I need to figure out how to delete some of those photos though, Mark, because I'm beginning to have to pay for storage and a monthly subscription for photos I don't even look at. Is it worth it?
That's it. Well, my girlfriend takes lots of pictures. And I always wondered, she can't possibly look at them all, can she? I don't know.
Does she delete the duplicates?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Me, I'm exactly the opposite. If I take a photo and I see it again later, I automatically make a decision. I don't need that photo. So we move along. It's Hug Holiday. Please ask first. It's Hug Holiday. It is. You've heard of Take My Children to Work Day? Well, today is Please Take My Children to Work Day. Understandable. It's also Food Holiday. It is Waffle Iron Day. The problem with waffle irons is it's kind of a limited thing, right? I mean, you make waffles and you can either put like fruit or maple syrup on it, or you can go the other way and do fried chicken.
Oh, what? Did you just, Mark, are you from York County?
What? Which one?
We do chicken and gravy, first off. You get waffles and chicken. This fried chicken on waffles is an obstruct. I can't imagine that even exists in New York. I get offended when I see it on restaurant menus.
I see. Yeah, it's not something I choose, but because that doesn't seem to work. But I think it does. I think if you had a piece of chicken and a waffle, my mother used to make a creamed chicken. I'm assuming that's what you were talking about, chicken gravy.
Or chicken and gravy, yeah. Or we do cream chipped beef on our waffles.
Oh, that's not. I mean, I wonder. Have you had? Where did you learn to like cream chipped beef?
Oh, my family's Pennsylvania Dutch, so we chip our own beef, and I make it. I'm not a huge cook, but waffles are also one of my favorite foods. So we're about to start fighting here in the studio this morning.
I had no idea. What did I walk into? Let's check out some of the interesting things that have happened on June 29th in all the years before us that we could either connect to, learn from. For example, 1,958 years ago. So it was on this date in 68 AD, St. Peter the Apostle, he was the first bishop of the Catholic Church, was crucified by Nero. What do you think of that?
Well, I would choose another death if I had a choice.
Yeah, really. Well, St. Paul, who was nearby, he was beheaded.
Oof.
So
At least that's instantaneous.
Yeah, that's true. Let's jump ahead a few hundred years. On this date, 1613, during a performance of Henry VIII, the Shakespeare's Globe Theatre in London burns down.
Aw.
But I think they did rebuild, and if you see, well, I won't. That's what do they call it? A spoiler. So I'm gonna leave that out. Moving up, on this date in 1806, a woman named Isabel Gunn set sail for Prince Rupert's Land, which is, I guess, here in the New World. She was disguised as a man. She got a job for the Hudson Bay Company. Now, they only learned that she was a woman when?
When?
A year later, when she gave birth.
Oh, gosh. Probably they didn't give it away when she was, 6-7 months pregnant.
Oh, you look like you're gaining some weight there. I'm expanding your britches.
Anyway, moving along, this is a big week in Gettysburg. Talked to a lot of folks yesterday about going to Gettysburg this week. In 1863, so this is before the battle starts, Confederate General Robert E. Lee orders his forces to concentrate near Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. So it is the beginning of their foray into Pennsylvania. On this date, 1888, the first known recording of classical music is made. Handel's Israel in Egypt. It was made, and this is what I find fascinating, a wax cylinder. I don't know if they still have it, but interesting stuff. On this date, sports. You can plug your ears. 1897, the Chicago Colts established a Major League Baseball record, most runs scored in a game by one team. They mauled the Louisville Colonels. Neither one of those teams exists, but how many runs do you think the Colts scored?
Ooh, 10.
36.
Oh, my goodness.
36. On this date in 1936, George M. Cohan became the first artist to win the Congressional Gold Medal. What was it? Over there. And who played him in the movies? It was one of my favorite actors, Jimmy Cagney. And I think he won an Academy Award for that. 1940, on this date, Batman comics. So you're reading a Batman comic, and on this date in 1940, this was the day that mobsters rubbed out a circus high-wire team known as the Flying Graysons. Does that name ring a bell? Mm-mm. Well, those were the parents of Dick Grayson. And who is he? He was Robin.
Oh.
So Robin's parents, yes, died on this date by the mob. On this date in 1956, when you drive on a highway today, U.S. Federal Interstate Highway System Act, signed by President Eisenhower.
Oh, that's one. I didn't realize, until a few years ago that the highway system was built as a defense from the Cold War, so we can evacuate cities quickly if we were ever attacked by a nuclear bomb.
And I don't think would we get out quickly these days? Probably
with
not.
Congestion, probably not, right?
No, right. Just stay where you are. 1964 on this date, NBC approves a new script from a guy named Gene Roddenberry. That name means nothing to you, does it?
Doesn't.
See, for people my age, he's the guy. It was for a pilot episode of a TV series. Maybe you heard of this, Star Trek.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay.
Yes. On this date, 1986, Sparky Anderson becomes the first manager. This is shocking. He won 600 games in both leagues, in the American League and the National League. That's pretty impressive. On this date, 2009, financier Bernie Madoff was sentenced to U.S. prison for conducting a massive Ponzi scheme. How many years did he get?
Ooh, I guess
Ballpark.
low 3.
150.
Oh my gosh! I was thinking that maybe there was some corruption there, and he was gonna, not get charged to the fullest amount.
Here's the weirdest one of these things that I've done. On this date, 2008, Thomas Beatty gave birth to a daughter. Wait, what? What did I say? Thomas? Yes, the world's first pregnant man gave birth to a daughter. And in case you think I don't know what I'm talking about, here is the Guinness Book of World Records, the first man to give birth. It was in Bend, Oregon. He underwent gender confirmation surgery, and he apparently had his first child. So there you go.
What year was that again, Mark?
Oh, darn it. Hang on a second. Hang on. I got it. It was 2008.
Okay.
On this date, two more. On this date in 2022, two things happened. One, the latest U.S. murder clearance rates show that half of all murders are left unsolved.
You want to know, though, what York County's is?
Go right ahead.
80%.
So
You have a higher chance of finding the perpetrator here in York County than you do the nation.
So what do you think about that? Is that understandable? Given the society and the civilization as we have it?
Well, I'd like to think that maybe we just have top-notch detectives. Maybe we have a focus on criminal justice here, and specifically the justice part and following through it and finding. I also wonder how much large crime syndicates that are difficult to track really happen here in York. I feel like it's more of a one-off compared to when you look at the national gangs and the crime waves that might go through New York or Los Angeles, for example.
I don't know. I don't know if you know this. Are most of the murders crimes of
domestic violence is
opportunity? Yeah,
unfortunately high here. And then we also have in the city, our group violence and our shootings. And usually that has to do with rivalries. Really, in York City, the North doesn't like the South and the West doesn't like the East. And it's really a shame because neighborhoods border one another.
Really? Well, I have one more. And it was on this date in 2022 when Earth recorded its shortest day ever. You want to know how short it was?
Ooh, 12 hour. Oh no, is it New York? I guess.
Well,
like Alaska, the poles.
No, it was they were timing it. They typed. They have an atomic clock and all that. It was 1.59 milliseconds faster than the standard day. So it was the shortest day ever recorded. What do you think about it?
Is it actually getting shorter, or is it just that we recorded it?
It was just that one day. For some reason, they didn't jump into details about it. But coming up after the break, we've got Revolution highlights and more silliness as the Gary Sutton Show continues. I should tell you, however, that this is an important part of the show.
The Gary Sutton Show, the Main Street of York, is brought to you by our presenting sponsors, kindnessworldwide.org. What are you going to do to bring more kindness into your sphere of influence today? Check them out at kindnessworldwide.org. And Anstein and Sparler, attorneys at law, 117 East Market Street in York. You can give them a call today at 717-846-8811. Their primary area of focus since 1937 has been estate planning, the state administration, family law, and municipal law and military law. And they're ready to help you. They're open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. Anstein and Sparler, attorneys at law, and Kindness Worldwide, proud sponsors of the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Revs highlights coming up next. It is 6:23 on a Monday morning. And this is 1, 2, 3.5. So
Pitch to him, swings and grounds it down the third base line. It's a base hit. And Ross coming around third will score. Blackwell on his way to second. And he'll hit the brakes with an RBI double. And the Revs have struck first today. It's 1-0. Now the 2-2. Curveball, swing and a miss. He struck him out on it, swinging this time. And Rhett Koba has struck out the side for the third time in this series. First time today. He's got 5 Ks through 3 scoreless innings. The 0-1. And a swing and a high drive right field. Randolph back, looking. He'll watch it fly. Brian Ray with a long opposite field home run. It's 5-0 here in the 5th. And his streaks extend. 14-game hitting streak, 33 in a row, reaching base. And he does it with an opposite field bomb in the rain here in the 5th inning in Charleston. 5-0 the lead on his 11th home run of the year. Kicks and comes home, and a swing and a line drive into right field, base hit. Ross around third, and Randolph fumbles it. Rosario now busts for second and dives in ahead of the throw there. Ross was going to score anyway. It's 6-0. It's an RBI single and an error. And the Revs have put up 2 more here in the 5th.
Yeah, things were looking real good, and then it all fell apart. And they didn't score another run, and then Charleston packed in 7 runs to win the game 7-6. Now, the good news is it's been a long week for the Revs. You know, this new schedule where they're out on the road. It's a little bit more efficient for everyone when they do it this way. But it does seem like it's been a while since they've been home, and they are coming home. I don't know if they came home last night or they're going to do it today. But the Revs open a 6-game homestand beginning tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m., when they take on Staten Island. Should be a good series. And again, it's going to be a hot week. So hopefully they're gearing up for it as the half season comes to an end. Anyway, it's 6:29. We do have a news update coming up. I've done a lot of talking, Jamie. So is there anything that you want to say that we haven't gotten to, other than you've become a homeowner again? Is that
we're actually going to be living in this home. Yeah. We won an auction, and we bought a house. It's really, really exciting. It's historic, so that'll be a lot of fun to try to,
it needs a lot of work.
Yeah,
historic means work.
Yeah, and there's cracks everywhere. Gosh, it's so beautiful, and it's got a beautiful.
What about
farm.
the like wiring? I mean, we talked about the plumbing earlier. So
yeah, there's no GFIs in even the kitchen. There's no, even the outlet in the bathroom doesn't have a grounding, so it's going to need a little bit of work. We'll see what we can do. But what I thought was interesting, I know we're going to get to birthdays next hour, but yesterday, Mel Brooks turned 100 years old.
Icon.
Oh my gosh, Young Frankenstein.
Is that a favorite of yours?
Yes, I can watch that any time of the year. Abby Normal. It does not have to be just around Halloween for us to watch that. Yeah. Roll in the hay. Anyway. Mel Brooks. That is, I have to attribute that to my family. Being raised on Blazing Saddles and all those Mel Brooks movies just gives you a sense. I remember the first time I saw, the movie where they have the knights where they're going after one another and they chopping off their arms.
Yes. That's not Mel Brooks, though. That is
Gene Wilder. No, who is? I think that's what is? Oh,
you're thinking of the British comedy?
Yeah,
group?
shoot,
yes,
darn it.
That's okay. See, that's all right. We were just talking about memories and
and how terrible my memory is.
And how well we.
Oh, that's gonna bug me. I'm gonna have to look it up, Mark.
Now you're gonna look it up.
Well, we have a back text line, right? Back 9 text line.
We do. The back 9 text line is open right now at 833-478-4729. That's 833-478-4729. What's helpful about it is if you hear something and you want to give us your 2 cents, you just pop on, text it, and you're done. You had your say, and we get the chance to see it. So it's not like the old days where you had to call and wait for me to answer the phone, that kind of thing. Back 9 text line at work now.
Okay, Monty Python. How could I forget that?
Yes. How could you forget it?
Kick me off the show.
Oh my gosh! Well, you still have other bona fides, so we'll stick with that. Let's get a news update, and on the other side, we'll check some of the big stories that we haven't gotten to in the top of the hour news and in the stories from Radio PA. We'll do that next. It is 6:32. It's a Monday morning on the Gary Sutton Show with guest host Jamie Norpel.
Bust it.
Now, I hesitate to ask you if you know about this particular record.
I recognize the song, if that stands for something.
It was Young MC. I think he's probably still around, but this was his first hit, and it was a monster. Bust a Move. And actually, good life advice, too, I think. Now, we are looking for news events as we get your Monday morning going. Lots of different things going on. I'm checking out the I mean, we have Trump and Biden throwing jabs at each other. We have, and that's the top story here at The Guardian. I don't even know why that's the. I mean, not that it shouldn't be there, but it shouldn't be the number one, should it? I don't know. U.S. and Iran agree to stop fighting over the Strait of Hormuz because it was over. They were going to sign this MOU, and things were going to progress from there. And then the missiles started flying, so I guess it stopped again. I guess so.
Let's hope so.
Yeah,
I know there are a lot of people who are upset who voted for Trump because he was going to keep us out of foreign conflicts.
Wars. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And speaking of Iran, their president says $6 billion in frozen assets in Qatar will be released as the talks continue. So, there's always been a sticking point, I think, with some Americans where, President Obama, when they part of the deal with the deal that they had with Iran was to give them back funds that had been frozen from, I think, back in 1979. And it was like $1.7 billion. But this is a lot more than that. And it's a very similar kind of thing, assets that had been frozen. Other things going on here, the $1 trillion borrowing binge that's lifting the stock market to risky heights. We have actually a couple of our guests have been off, but we did have Chris Markowski here on Thursday, and he doesn't really play the market, I think is what he told you. So it was, stocks go up and down. He's looking for winners over a long period of time. So that means maybe not day trading.
Yeah, the best analogy I had for that is if you have a dog walker and you are thinking of your beginning to end destination, you don't follow the dog because they go left and right. You look at the long-term trajectory of where you're going, and that's how I look at my stock markets.
But this headline, the $1 trillion borrowing binge lifting the stock market to risky heights, part of that has to do with these companies that are, because most of the gains are from AI related companies, and they are the ones that are borrowing to either shore up stock or to get, they're trying to find ways to build these data centers, and it's getting a lot of pushback from people. And of course, around here, we talked about it last week with Julie Wheeler, the president commissioner, and also I think we had another conversation with Dawn Kiefer, I believe, the state senator. So it's something that's on people's radar, and it has to do with pushing electricity rates higher. I don't know if you've checked your electricity bill. Have you?
Yeah. Well, and the data center argument is fascinating because you have responsibility of land use management, but then also the possibility of bringing in a much needed tax revenue base. And but your county seems to be largely opposed. I will actually be surprised if a data center is built here.
And that's happening across the country. I think they thought they were going to have a few more in Florida, but that is not the case. I think that the pushback from residents there is forcing some of these companies to rethink their plans. And that's one of the reasons why the borrowing has come up. And it makes investment reporting, they're very skittish about when they start to see this amount of debt being put up to keep this thing going, and what happens when it doesn't keep going. Ouch. We'll be buying 1755 houses. That's what we'll be doing. The nation's going to turn 250. How does that hit someone of your younger age?
Oh, I'm excited. Oh, well, how are you celebrating? You have to have some type of plans.
Other than golf and a hot dog, I haven't really had time to think about it. My part-time job is at Hershey, and I work at Chocolate World, and I'm a character in one of the attractions there. And I will say that one of the reasons why I like to do it and keep doing it, because I don't have to, but I sort of like it because in this particular job, I never really see the audience. I just talk and, if they like it, then they let me keep talking. There, the audience is right in front of you. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's even better because I really didn't think much about Hershey because, it's up, not too far from my house. So what's the big deal? We don't appreciate. And when you're there, though, you do. I do. You see all these people from around the world.
Yes.
A lot, so many different states. I talked to people this weekend, yesterday, from Texas and Ohio and just all over, and people from around the world coming and smiling faces, jacked up on chocolate. No doubt.
Well, it's the most recognized brand that we have here in Pennsylvania. But, with the America's 250th, I challenge you to find an empty spot in the cultural events that are York County this weekend.
Absolutely.
Everything from, so starting on July 3rd on Friday and then Saturday, Sunday. There's so many things happening, and there are a number of different organizations tracking these. You can go to York Daily Record, just posted something, Cultural Alliance of York, Explore York. Explore York does a really good job of tracking all these. Please get out there and celebrate America this weekend. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, July 4 York is back. Organizers once again preparing to deliver a full day of patriotic entertainment, family fun, community celebration at Wellspan Park this coming Saturday. We've got details from the team. It kicks off at 2:30 p.m. right outside our door over here on Brooks Robinson Plaza with all kinds of activities for the family. 3:45, the Engineering Society of York, the York Factory Whistle Concert Committee.
Oh, cool.
The York County Community Foundation, 240 Arch, Cleveland Brothers, York Water Company. Oh my goodness, the list is long. They're all going to be performing a special 30-minute patriotic concert, which is going to be heard throughout the area, obviously, because the steam whistle's pretty loud. Celebration moves inside the park at 4. Gates open for ticketed fans. And then around 4:15, a special Veterans Parade kicks off, and that'll be around the warning track of the field. And then at 5 p.m., the Revolution take on the Lancaster Stormers. Yeah, we're coming for you.
Boo, Lancaster.
Yes, and the celebration will continue. We'll feature a post-game performance by the York Symphony Orchestra and chorus. We're talking all kinds of patriotic music, and of course, they are confirming that the Revolution Cannon, which you always see here with the runs scored and home runs and that kind of thing, will be part of the performance of Tchaikovsky's 1812 Overture, adding some big booms. So check that out. I think tickets are still available. There's also going to be a dual fireworks spectacular presented by Gladfelter Insurance Group, and it's all happening here.
So sorry, parents, your children will not be sleeping on Friday or Saturday night.
Well, I just want to say one thing about that. I had a good friend of mine, and he lost a dog because they got scared of the fireworks.
Oh, it died.
Well, what they did was they thought they had him locked up in the house, because they knew he was going. They had music up, they knew he was going to be apprehensive about it, so they figured, leave him in the house with music. Hopefully, it'll cover it up. He got out somehow, and then was hit by a car.
Aww.
Yeah, very sad.
That is sad.
And I always think of that around this time. I had pets also that did not like fireworks, and trying to be sensitive to that. So at least if it's coming, maybe there's something you can do about it. It's kind of hard for us to avoid 250th.
Right, yeah. They have those thunder blankets that you can wrap. It's kind of like Temple Grandin's where she hugged the cows, kind of similar mindset of hugging your animals in that way.
So did you watch any of the FIFA World Cup?
Did you really ask me that?
Well, I want to find out if at all you're not like intrigued by this?
I don't. My algorithm on my social media doesn't even bring up sports.
No
It
kidding.
knows that.
Okay. All right. There were interesting games yesterday. Canada actually did finally score a goal and beat somebody 1-0, and that got them into I think it's the knockout round, I think is what they call it. Today, it's Japan taking on Brazil. So I think this is, if you lose, you're out. Paraguay taking on Germany, and that's followed by Morocco versus the Netherlands. And the United States will be playing on Wednesday night, 8 p.m., and the U.S. taking on Bosnia Herzegovina. How is that? You don't care. That's enough of that.
I can pretend. Ooh.
Oh, yes. There you go. Coming up, we are going to check out some birthdays. We're also going to be talking about, let's see, something. I don't believe that any of the monarchs in England, and there've been, kings and queens there for hundreds of years, have ever revealed their taxes. I don't even know I wasn't even sure they paid taxes.
Right.
But King Charles has released his taxes, so we'll delve into that. And if you remember last week, it was Amazon days, and some of the stats came out over the weekend. So maybe it can give us an idea of what the economy is doing, maybe, since it's such an important part of, what's happening. And something else that happened on this date, I think we're going to hold on to that. I'm going to hold
so
on.
stay
to
tuned after the commercial break.
Well, I have birthdays, so I want to do the birthdays, but there are a couple of other things. One of them, it kind of landmark, because these two guys, they wrote a lot of music, but interestingly, their first hit, if you will, didn't happen. They didn't sing it. So they wrote it, but they didn't sing it. So we'll get into that. All coming up this morning. It is the Gary Sutton Show. Without Gary, he will be back tomorrow. But Jamie Norpel adding her special brand of wit and irreverence to and knowledge as well. I mean, someone who a doctorate in history, American history.
Yeah, it's American Studies from Penn State. Yep, very similar.
Very good. Well, let's do birthdays next. Stick around. It is 6:49 at WOYK. So, Jamie, was this a song that was hit before you were born?
I love this song so much.
Wait, you didn't answer the question.
You mean, did it come out before I was born?
Yes.
I was born in 1990, so probably.
Oh, my
What year
Lord.
did it come out?
I want to say 83, maybe, 82, somewhere around there.
Let me do the math here. You thought I was 45. Wow,
I wasn't
that's
sure.
a little insulting.
I actually I hadn't really thought about the actual number, but that's of course none other than hang on a second. What is it? Men at Work, right? But the lead singer is. Do you know who the lead singer is? Colin Hay. How can you forget that? He is our lead birthday today. He's 73, still around, still playing. I think, matter of fact, was he at maybe Strand? Maybe not that long ago. Other birthdays today of people that Jamie has no idea who they are. Dan Deerdorf, you know who he is, right? He was a football player, right? A matter of fact, at one time he was described as the dirtiest player. Dan Deerdorf.
To be clear, Mark is not talking to himself. Kevin Smith is in the studio. And
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
So
I forgot to say that. Yeah, Dan Deerdorf, 77, and Colin Jost. I know you know who that is. No?
let me
Colin-
delay as I Google.
Saturday Night Live. He's the
Oh yeah, he's
Weekend
funny.
Update. Yes, he is. He's married to famous actress.
Oh,
blonde-
so I'm cheating. I'm looking at it online. Scarlett Johansson.
That's
so
it.
I am.
Oh, you
yeah,
got that?
She
good?
is. Yeah, she's
All
a
right.
beautiful woman.
Even
man.
with AI's help. Nicole Scherzinger. She used to be in the Pussycat Dolls.
Oh yeah, and did I see that her daughter played Moana?
Yes, and she played the mother.
Did she really?
Yes.
Oh wow.
And she won Dancing with the Stars. She is 48 today. Fred Grandy. I know you don't know who that is, and I'm not so sure Kevin Smith knows who Fred. What's that? Love Boat. Yes, the Love Boat. He got it. Gopher on the Love Boat. And what's interesting about Fred used to be, that was the most interesting thing, but he was actually a congressman. He won a few terms. I think it was from Iowa or Nebraska, something like that. Gary Busey is 82 today. And a woman whose name I just learned. I looked at, I saw, what's her name? Melora Hardin. Do you know who Melora? I had never even heard the name before, but the character she played was Jan on The Office. And, you know, some great conversations between her and Steve Carell. It's such a great show. If you have not watched The Office, it is. Is that something you watch?
Oh yeah, top notch. That Office was fantastic. I currently follow an Instagram account that gives behind the scenes of Steve Carell and a lot of the skits that were not planned. They were just improv on the spot, and just how of a brilliant actor he is.
No doubt, and it was well written, and it was done in that cinema verite style where they're like supposed to be. Shooting a documentary?
I think it's a mockumentary.
Mockumentary. So, and they just kept it up the whole time. And then it became a thing. Then there were other shows that kind of used the same
Parks
idea.
and Rec is just my all-time favorite show.
That's your all-time favorite?
Oh, Amy Poehler. She's my, if you can have a spirit animal, she is. I want to be her when I grow up.
No kidding.
Oh, she leads in the community, but
Yes.
she's funny and
Yes.
relatable. Oh, it's so good.
And it has an innocence about her.
Yes.
That, but she also has a competency as well. Not that the two are diametrically opposed, but I'm just, it's odd that. I have to apologize, not to you, but the listeners, that the sports that you just heard was an old one. I didn't put the new one in soon enough. I have a lot of pie plates that I'm spinning here. That's another old reference, Jamie. There was a guy on the Ed Sullivan Show who used to the song or to the he was spinning all these
It's a pretty
plates.
classic, circus skit.
And that does kind of describe me here. So let's listen to sports. This is the one you should have heard.
Good morning. This is Sports from Radio PA. The Phillies claim their 3-game series over the Mets following a 5-4 win from Queens. Kyle Schwarber blasted a 2-run homer to take the lead in the 7th inning. Phillies won 5 of 6 and will be hosting Pittsburgh tonight. The NFL draft is done. The Flyers grab London defensive men Maksim Sokolovsky at number 27. The Pirates salvaged their series finale against the Reds after collecting a 9-4 victory at PNC Park. Mitch Keller earned the win after striking out 4 over 6 innings. Pittsburgh snapped its 2-game skid. Will be visiting the Philadelphia Phillies for a 4-game set that starts tonight. Brady Singer suffered the loss after allowing 5 runs and 9 hits. Cincinnati could not complete the sweep and will be visiting the Milwaukee Brewers for a 4-game set that starts tonight. The round of 32 continues. 3 more matches on Monday. Brazil and Japan square off from Houston. Germany and Paraguay battle from Foxborough, while the Netherlands and Morocco duel in Mexico. And that's sports. I'm Julio Flores.
All right. So I teased that King Charles has published his taxes, which I don't know if King has ever done that before. Let's find out a little more about that, Jamie.
Royals get funds from various sources, but in the last financial year, that's 2024-25, Charles paid the equivalent of over $16 million on his personal income and capital gains, and that was up from just over $15 million the year before. Most of that money comes from the privately owned estates and property sales he's involved with. Prince William, that's the current Prince of Wales, is not far from behind, paying, it's reported, the equivalent of just over $10 million in the past year. And these moves are meant to shed more transparency on the workings of the royals at a time of greater scrutiny and, frankly, scandal within the royal family.
So now we know. Interesting, one thing that I left out in what's happening on this, or what had happened on this date, 59 years ago, it was 1967, Jane Mansfield. Do you know who she was?
Mm-hmm, yeah. Yep.
A blonde bombshell back in the day.
Gorgeous.
She was killed in a car accident. She was driving, and it slammed into the back of a semi-tractor trailer truck. She was only 34 years old. But here's the thing. That was a horrible thing. But Jane's daughter, who was Law and Order SVU star Mariska Hargitay, and Jane's other 2 children, 2 sons, were in the back seat at the time, and they escaped the crash with only minor injuries. So, and Marissa doesn't have any memory of what happened. So stick around. Kevin Smith is here. Kindness is next on the agenda. After news, it is 7 o'clock.
This is York's only local show on York's only local station. This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Listen to your show every day. It's really good. I have you guys on every morning to wake up to.
Gary Sutton, mornings 6 to 9 on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK.
All the things you're talking about are all the things we're talking about. It's Main Street America every day.
And you're getting your money's worth.
You're a brilliant mind, tremendous experience. You're great for the community.
The Gary Sutton Show on York's first station, WOYK.
You talking to me? Well, I'm the only one here.
Now, broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park, here's Gary Sutton.
It is the Gary Sutton Show. Gary played in a tournament. I didn't get a text or anything on how well he did, so I guess we'll find out tomorrow. It was a big deal. He's been, I don't want to say he was gearing up for this like since January, but I think maybe a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see if all his hard work paid off in, perfecting his skills. You don't play golf, do you?
I used to. Yeah, I used to play only a couple times a year. I really enjoyed it, and I need to get back into it. But it just, if you're going to do golf, it takes time. You can't just decide I'm going to try to do it an hour a week.
But here's the thing, and I hear what you're saying. I mean, to get really good over a long period of time, you do have to play a lot. But at the same time, the pros, I mean, did you see Scotty Scheffler yesterday? He was leading by one stroke, and he chunked a wedge. What? The guy, number one in the world? Listen, if he can chunk a wedge... what prayer do you have?
I know. Well, we go out. We would play best ball, of course, and I got tired of always. We maybe used my ball once a game, and so I more feel bad for my friends. Or I've been asked a few times to go on work outings, and my clubs are embarrassing. I think I got them from Dick's Sporting Goods maybe 15 years ago.
Well, as long as you're not playing with an old walnut driver or whatever they use back in the day. But by the way, Scotty Scheffler ended up having to sink a putt on the last hole to tie, and him and Victor Hovland are tied at the Travelers Tournament. So they're going to be playing a playoff this morning. So we'll keep an eye out on that as to exactly when that's going to be. But in the meantime, we've got, in this particular hour, an open segment where we're going to talk about a couple of things. One has always been a conundrum to me because I think, I'll leave it for the open segment. There was a movie that came out, a Spielberg movie on top of it, which always brings a lot of gravitas, but it's a conversation we haven't had yet about a particular piece of technology. And then the other story I'd like to talk about and get your feelings on, Jamie, about it's another piece of technology that is really changed so many things. And we've had so many experiences like that with, everything from electricity to computers. And this was just the latest thing. Notice I went from electricity to computers.
And listeners, Mark doesn't give me any forewarning what we'll be talking about. So you'll be hearing me off the cuff, right? No preparation. I'll find out along with everyone else.
Yes. Yeah, it'll be fine. But because that's how I found out about it. So it's not like I have it doesn't matter. Let's get Kevin Smith in here so you guys can talk. He's a Kindness Worldwide and find out what the latest is on the documentary and all things kindness.
Good morning, Kevin. Thanks for coming in.
It's great to be here, Jamie. Good morning.
Happy Monday. So Kevin Smith, I direct the York County Safety Club, and Kevin Smith is on my board and does a fantastic job listening and giving guidance on the vision of ways that we can improve safety here in York County. But he also started Kindness Worldwide. This is really now has become an international movement that's focused on really focusing on being kind to one another and uplifting the stories of people being nice to one another and treating each other with respect and dignity. Could you give us just a quick overview of what is the mission of Kindness Worldwide?
The vision of Kindness Worldwide is to create a culture of kindness in communities throughout the world. So that's the vision. And there's many aspects to that vision. Our signature initiative, Kindness Week Worldwide, is literally spreading to communities throughout the country and the world. So we want to celebrate what we believe is humanity's greatest asset. We also have storytelling. We can share more stories of kindness and promote mindful kindness. We want to bring kindness, a culture of kindness, into the classrooms and the workplaces. And kindness citations, a way of changing the paradigm of community policing and to cite the good, to literally see the good that defines our community. So there's many aspects to that vision. And it all began, innocently enough, from one original act of kindness right here in York County, Pennsylvania, on Good Friday morning, 2023. On that particular morning, I left my wallet behind at a grocery store, and a young Good Samaritan woman returned it immediately after I realized it was missing. And an innocent attempt to identify who this young woman was and thank her in a more meaningful way took on a life of its own and literally opened up pathways to make a meaningful difference, and hence Kindness Worldwide was launched on November 9, 2023, right here at York, PA at Wellspin Park.
Yeah, and that you launched a documentary called For Such a Time as This, and you had a showing at the Appel Center. I was privileged enough to be able to go, and I brought a girlfriend, and we went and had dinner downtown before we went, and had a really just nice time talking and getting to know each other, building relationships, and then we got to go in to watch the film, and it, like you said, it's unassuming. It starts off with this young woman named Brooke who finds your wallet, and you're able to capture the images of her knocking on your door, and you grab the pictures of her, and she's early 20s, this young blonde woman. And then as you began to learn more about her story and others, you learn that there's substance abuse, and then other people are connected through domestic violence. And how a takeaway for me is that it's so easy for me to go about my day and just focus on my to-do list and what I need to accomplish. And I forget that every single person that I'm talking to has their own demons. And so for me, it's just having a little bit more grace and understanding instead of just jumping right into criticizing, or the negative, giving people the benefit of the doubt. And that seems to be a major theme of Kindness Worldwide.
It really is. Well, there's a lot more to the story, behind the story, that people aren't aware of. And this film is hopefully a catalyst for audiences to see kindness through a different lens, to see and treat each other better. And it's resonating with audiences for many reasons, because it gets real quick, as you know. And coincidentally, or not, I don't believe in coincidences anymore. There's so many serendipitous moments have defined this journey since it began. But the week that we actually had the debut screening right here in New York last November, Pope Leo had a convening at the Vatican of the Hollywood film industry. And at this convening at the Vatican, he challenged filmmakers not to shy away from what he called the world's wounds. And what he meant by that is covering important topics that often are ignored or pushed aside, like domestic violence, like addiction, like abuse, like depression, anxiety, all these things. And when I saw that story, which was that same week, I just shook my head again. I said, that's exactly what this film does, and exactly what he called on the industry to do. And I think it's resonating for many reasons. Up to 15 laurels now and awards, domestically and internationally. It recently was nominated for an award at the Tokyo Women's International Film Festival in Melbourne, Australia, among others. And because it is making those emotional connections. I think in many cases the audience can relate to many of the characters in the film, because these aren't characters, these are real people. And many of the moments in the film, as you know, happened in real and raw time. Nothing was scripted. The interviews just unfolded the way they did. Moments just kind of magically happened, just like this adventure took on a life of its own. The film did as well. And when you make that emotional connection, and people can start to relate, and they can start to maybe look in the mirror and maybe question themselves about how they can do better, how we all can really play a role in this story and write its future chapters together. And so if you recall, at the end of the film, it says to be continued, because the rest of the story really is up to us. locally and beyond, to write the future chapters together. And I'm absolutely convinced that the best is yet to come.
You're reminding me of a story I just heard this weekend. So I have a friend. He is, oh my gosh, I don't want to assume his age. I guess in his 70s. And he comes to all of our York County Safety Club events. He is just a huge supporter of me and everything that we do. And we held an anti-human trafficking summit this past Saturday at Logos Academy, which is where the Safety Club is housed. And he and I got to talk over donuts and coffee beforehand about his life. He moved from a town that's in western Pennsylvania here to York and bought a house close to Ore Valley Elementary School, which is my alma mater. And when he moved into that house, he said that a neighbor woman came over, and this was in 1970s, and said, welcome to the neighborhood. My husband has a plumbing business. Please let us know how we can help you. Where are you from? And he said, oh, I'm from western Pennsylvania. And her whole demeanor switched. And she changed from this welcoming neighbor to now, I will not talk to you. I will not wave to you. He was also Catholic. And so there was a different, sect of religions here in York that was less welcoming. And she held to that. However, she ended the conversation with, but if you need to pay my husband to come and be a plumber for your house, we can come over and do that. And I think about how that still is semi-true here in York. If you didn't go to high school here, if your grandparents didn't go to high school here, we still are insular and less likely to welcome in what we would consider like strangers or out-of-towners. And the point of Kindness Worldwide and the movie is to try to break down that mindset of hostility, or I don't know, disingenuous. And where do you think we are, Kevin? Do you think we're taking steps in the right direction?
I do. I think we're trending in the right direction, but there's always room for improvement. And, one of the things very personal to me, as you may know, I grew up in York County. This is my
Did you go to high school here, though?
I did. I went to Ketterdale High School, Southern York County. And but, I've always felt there's a culture of kindness here in my home community, but there's still room for improvement. And I recall many times I'd be traveling outside of York County over the years, and I would say where I'm from. And it didn't happen all the time, but it happened too many times where they said, oh, isn't that where? And they bring up 1969. They bring up, Mayor Robertson, which made national news. York was national news for all the wrong reasons. Right. And that perception gets ingrained. And I used to be frustrated, like, no, that's not my community. That's not what we're about. We learn from our past, and we're a much better community. We have room for improvement. But I used to feel frustrated because what can I do about it? Because once that perception's ingrained, it's hard to change. Well, now it's why I'm trying to go the extra mile, so to speak, to really position York County as the epicenter of this movement and the home of kindness worldwide. And people are paying attention to what we're doing through the leadership of our example, the leadership of the York County Safety Collab, what you're doing with, being instrumental in spreading kindness citations to multiple police departments throughout the community. Those things go a long way to changing perception. And I'm convinced this community is treading in the right direction, but we can do more.
So let's double click on that, because I remember you and I met years ago and you pitched your idea, and I remember thinking, but how? Like, how are we going to implement this? Yes, the idea of kindness is wonderful, but what are the actionables? What are the takeaways? And it wasn't then until you came up with the kindness citations that I thought, oh, okay, I'm seeing this now. I can print a few hundred copies. We can get them to be adopted by police departments to catch people doing something good and make their day to have an interaction with a police officer instead of usually, let's be honest, on your worst day, right? Whether that is, you being responsible for going too fast on the road or having to call for them to get you out of a sticky situation. And so it wasn't until I saw that I realized that your goal is to just inspire others. I mean, you have your own actionables, things that happen, but you're hoping that other people latch on to this and make it a part of their own daily habits and their own initiatives, right?
Absolutely. Well, the most visible aspect of all the initiatives in many respects has been kindness citations. And leading by our example and inspiring others, I became aware that, look, My world began to change when I stopped pointing the finger at others and started pointing at myself. And if I lead by my example, maybe others will be inspired to follow it. And we all can lead by example. We all can play that role. And you're leading by example. And the York County Safety Collab and every police officer issuing a kindness citation is setting the tone. And gradually we change the mindset. We change our culture, where we're all focusing on kindness and leading by example, and it ripples out. But it starts with one person, one act, one community at a time. And I do believe that we can create a culture of kindness in communities throughout the world. We're making progress. But really, it all does begin right here at York County. It started here, but does not end here. It is rippling out from York County, Pennsylvania.
I love that. The to be continued, right?
To be continued. And the best is yet to come. I'm absolutely convinced of it.
Yeah. When I think about, all right, what does kindness mean? It's acts, but for me, it's also a mindset of generosity and understanding. So, for example, I hope I don't get in trouble for this, but we live very, very close to my grandmother-in-law, and she is a wonderful, wonderful human being. She also stops over at the house all the time, right? And sometimes it's unannounced, and I'm a breastfeeding mom. So sometimes, I'm in my living room and it's like, oh my gosh. And, we're living in a tiny apartment. And she'll come over and ask if our 3-year-old can come out and play, which I love. But then there's this part of me that's like, oh, but he's got to brush his teeth, or we have to eat dinner, or we have to go somewhere. And sometimes I can find myself getting really negative. Like, man, can you just give me a call or give me a text? And then I think, oh my gosh, here's this. How fortunate am I to have my 70-year-old grandmother-in-law who wants to be a part of our life, who yesterday brought my 3-year-old over to give me a 20-minute break and fed him a dinner, right? So I could get my chores done around the house. And so for me, kindness is a mindset of giving people that goodwill and reminding all the good that I read a book called, oh, darn it. I'm just going to, the subtle art, right? Of not, and then the F word. Thank you, Mark. Yes, I remember it. And in it, it talked about that generosity of if you are complaining about someone, then pretend that they're out of your life. Then you don't get it. Complain about anything. And once you complain about that thing, it's gone. You don't have it anymore. And it puts it in perspective that, wow, maybe I shouldn't complain about my loving, adoring, caring grandmother who, yes, would it be nice if she sent a text? Absolutely, right? Would it be nice if she checked in? Absolutely. But the other 99 things that she does, that's so generous to my family. And so I'm sure that you have that your brain chemistry has probably been changed through all this.
Oh, absolutely. Well, there's a whole science behind it. I always say, see the good. And it's easy for us to get caught up in the bad. We just watch the news and it's all, mostly largely negative. But you see the good, mindful kindness, self-awareness. It does become a lifestyle. It does become a habit. And you just described it perfectly, what I call the sacred pause, where you become more aware of the good and your gratitude and you're grateful and appreciative. And we all need to be more mindful of that. And that's a wonderful example of you leading by example and doing just that.
Oh, thank you so much, Kevin, for coming into the studio today. Always appreciate you.
Always a wonderful way to start the week with some kindness right here in the studio with Mark and Jamie.
So as I there we go, get it into position. Thank you as always, Kevin. Always, and I just want to make a small comment. When you started doing these segments, you used to dress a lot better. And now, you look like me, for crying out loud. T-shirts and shorts. All right. Oh, is that it? No, geez. And Jamie, I was very glad that you pulled that out of your memory.
The book.
Yeah, she was confessing that, and I think we all have that kind of, momentary, like you can't remember something. And of course, Gary and I, do it publicly here, and our memory isn't really quite as good as it used to be. But it happens to all of us. So coming up, we've got an update from Fox Sports, and we'll get into, remember that story I told you about? Well, we all know that it was Amazon Days late last week, and some stats came out over the weekend. Kind of interesting as to, I don't know if you can read into it, economic numbers or its effect on the economy. Maybe maybe, I don't know. I just think a lot of people use it. So maybe it's a helpful check on what the economy is doing. We can check that out next. It is the Gary Sutton Show with guest host Jamie Norpel. She is CEO, Grand Poobah of the
Director Mark
of the York County Collab. And Gary will be back tomorrow. But right now, take a quick break. It is 7:24 at WOYK.
Fox Sports Update.
Well, the Sox have been looking for a spark, boys. Sweeping the Yankees at home is one way to find it. That was a heck of a ball game. And that's the way it should have turned. Sonny Gray pitched so good. I know he didn't get the win, but he pitched. I mean, that was a tremendous game.
Sunday Night Baseball on NBC. The Red Sox beat the Yankees in 10 innings, 5-4. A game that one-time Yankees pitcher Sonny Gray started for the Red Sox and took a no-hitter into the 8th inning before Ahmed Rosario singled with 1 out. The next inning, the Yankees scored 2 runs and tied the game. They went to extra innings. New York scored twice more in the 10th. As 2-time Gold Glove right fielder Wilyer Abreu made a second costly throwing error in as many innings. But the Sox came to bat last, and Boston scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 10th. Jaron Duran walked it off with a single for a 4-game sweep for the Red Sox against the Yankees, 5-4. 84 games into the season, Kyle Schwarber has 30 home runs, faster to this point than any player in Phil's history. He leads all of MLB. Phillies beat the Mets 5-4.
On the strike from
World Cup Soccer on Fox. Stefan Eustaquio scored in the 95th minute for Canada, which defeated South Africa 1-0 in the first game of the knockout stage. First time Canada will play in the round of 16. Opponent to be determined tonight in a match between the Netherlands and Morocco. 9 p.m. Eastern on Fox. First up today, 1 o'clock Eastern in Houston. On Fox, Brazil plays Japan. 4:30 Eastern on Fox. From Foxborough, Massachusetts, Germany versus Paraguay. Followed by the Netherlands and Morocco, 9 Eastern in Guadalajara, Mexico. First round play underway in Wimbledon today. Golf, the final round of the Players' Championship was suspended by darkness after Scotty Scheffler had forced a playoff versus Victor Hovland. They'll hit the course at 9 a.m. Eastern today. Heron Ryu won the Women's PGA Championship. She was 10 shots off the lead after the first round. It's Game On with the Fox Sports app, available wherever you download apps. I'm Jared Max.
Get more on the Fox Sports app and foxsports.com.
The Gary Sutton Show, the Main Street of York, is brought to you by our presenting sponsors, kindnessworldwide.org. What are you going to do to bring more kindness into your sphere of influence today? Check them out at kindnessworldwide.org. And Anstein and Sparler, attorneys at law, 117 East Market Street in York. You can give them a call today at 717-846-8811. Their primary area of focus since 1937 has been estate planning, the state administration, family law, and municipal law and military law. And they're ready to help you. They're open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. Anstein and Sparler, attorneys at law, and Kindness Worldwide, proud sponsors of the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
So last week we had Amazon Days, and the stats came out to see how, shoppers and the company did.
It's a good bet you bought something on Prime Day. The retail tracking site Numerator says the average American household spent just over $143 during Amazon's 4-day shopping extravaganza, with about $47.66 per order. That's down about 16% from last year, with shoppers focusing more this time on lower priced items rather than those in the luxury category. The difference this year? Shoppers did more stocking up on essentials rather than splurging on higher priced items. Nearly 3/4 of the items purchased sold for under $20. The most popular categories were apparel, household essentials, and health and wellness. Adobe Analytics predicts Amazon will make more than $26 billion on Prime Day. Daria Albinger, Fox News.
So did you buy anything?
I didn't. $26 billion. How are they? My cousin works for Amazon, and he's in the logistics and trucking side of things. And the amount of planning and work and time, I mean, what a great business model I think we could all learn from. It's also terrifying that we're just going and what is this monolithic business that we're supporting? What's going to happen?
Jeff Bezos has, and you know what it was? It was more his vision, I think, of what you could do with computers. Because that's really what is driving it. That's the big power, is those warehouses and the ability to track and logistics, keep track of all this stuff and match them up with a computer at your house and your phone, and you can order, and he can set his computer network to work to get you that product in no time at all.
Oh gosh, do they make it easy?
Delivered to your house. Mm-hmm. Coming up next, we're going to get a news update, and then we're going to delve into a movie that when it came out, everybody, the name of the movie is a little bit of a misnomer, because when we think of this particular subject these days, we don't think about little boys. I'll just leave it at that, and we'll get to details about what that means next with Jamie Norpel, guest host here on the Gary Sutton Show for a Monday morning on WOYK. It is 6:33. Oh, excuse me. 7:33. Sorry about that. It's coming. 1989 bumper music continues. Fine Young Cannibals, Good Thing. Of course, this was before Jamie was born, so I don't know if you...
Not this one.
Not aware of that. Yes, okay, so I'll just dump that. So here we have an open segment, and I thought a couple of things came up in our search for... usually a good starting point is things that have happened on this date. And both of the things that we're going to focus on in this particular element section are about technology, and we also have some tech stories as well. So I'm trying to figure out which one of the two. I think I'm going to go with the first one. It was a movie, and actually, were they both on this date? 2007. I think they were. Let me just double check. No, this one was 2001, so it's 25 years ago. And I don't know if it got, I don't think it's one of Spielberg's best movies, and I don't think that a lot of people saw it. I think it came out and it was like, oh, it's called artificial intelligence. And, oh, we're going to learn. Back then it was a kind of a new term, but I think it means something different now. Let's just give a listen to the trailer for that movie in the summer of 2001.
When's your birthday? I never had a birthday.
His name is David.
I feel it. That's creepy. Whoa, you're so real.
In a distant future, in an age of intelligent machines, he is the first robotic child programmed to love and coexist as a member of a family. His is a tale of humanity and a journey to find his place among humans and machines.
I'm a boy.
You are a real boy. At least as real as I've ever made one.
It was called Artificial Intelligence. His love is real, but he is not. Again, a Spielberg film. And you have any history with that, Jamie?
I did not see that movie.
I will tell you that I had a chance to see it several times. It used to be on HBO, in the cycle, like a year after it came out. They would have it on all the time for a short period of time. And I got to watch it many, many times. It would just be on, and I'd take a look at it. Haley Joel Osment from... I See Dead People.
The Sixth Sense.
Yes, he's a very capable actor. And in this one, I think he really hit his stride. But it's an uncomfortable movie to watch because when we're talking about artificial intelligence today, how do you view it? What do you think AI is?
I mean, I think of the automated, algorithms that use the database of human intelligence to create, brand new content, using the warehouse that is our human history that's online anyway.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. In this particular case, though, they were, and it may end up becoming robots, but back then it was like shorthand for robots. And so how do you... What kind of robots? Now, the way we're being told about them now is little boxes that deliver food. They're just starting them. Maybe it's drones that deliver medicine, for example. But in the movie, they chose this actor who has just the greatest eyes, and the story is heartbreaking. A husband and wife lose their young boy, and I would say he was maybe 10 years old, 9 years old, and they buy a robot. Now, what's interesting is the boy doesn't look like their boy, okay? But he is roughly the same age. But of course, he's never going to grow up. So the mother, the husband the father does it for his wife because she is so heartbroken. And he's just very good. He's so innocent, and, she loves teaching him things, and, he doesn't know that he's not real, that he's not a human. And what happens is, heartbreakingly, is that they grow up and older, and he doesn't change at all.
Well, I was wondering, this had to have a Michael Crichton be cautious with messing with technology, and the intersection of technology and biology and human nature. So does he have feelings?
Yes, he develops feelings, and he wants to know why people don't treat him differently. Why don't they treat him like a human? And then through other characters who are also robots, one of which is Jude Law. He plays a feel-good robot, and he knows the rules of the game, and he's trying to get this kid up to speed. He's the worldly person, but he can't seem to break through to Haley Joel Osment's character. And, not to give too much of the film away, again, I found it hard to watch a child pining for his mother, who wasn't his mother, and he was looking for a connection. And I guess it is a happy ending, maybe, that he does find a connection, but it's not the one you think.
You just described half of the original Disney movies. I'm convinced that Walt Disney had some type of parent issue, like Bambi, right?
Yes.
Fox and the Hound, like all these movies where the Cinderella,
yes.
The parents die, and then you're left founding for yourself,
Well, in this particular case, the robot is supposed to answer the problems, but all it did was create more problems.
Well, was the mother happy? Did it answer that?
She was initially. I don't know if you saw that shot of her when she got her first hug from the boy. It was like the look on her face was, I have my boy back. And there was a very, very happy time. And she got basically what they paid for. But what ended up happening is the boy... He wanted to be their son, but they got old and then they died. And he didn't get older. And he had nowhere else to go. Nobody else wanted him. And he wants his mother. But he can't have her. And he doesn't understand quite why. So at the end of the movie, very fairy tale-ish, I guess. The first part is very real, I think, in a way. I think these are the things that we're going to struggle with when it comes to these robots. I don't know if you've seen any of them. We had a robot, Humanoid is what they're called, Humanoid Robot Expo. I think it was last week in Chicago.
Last week, yeah.
So they're going to be part of our existence here in the future. And I don't know, you're raising your children, Jamie. Maybe, down the road, you might get some extra help from a robot.
As long as they have you ever been to Giant and you see those robots?
Yes.
As long as these robots have the googly eyes, I'll be on board.
Is that right?
That's one stipulation.
And I would be interested in knowing, your reaction as a mother to the movie. And I'll just throw that out there. I know your time is very limited. You're very a productive person. But if at all, check that out. Maybe the next time you come, we can talk a little bit.
I didn't know I got homework for being on the Gary Sutton Show.
Right. Well, now, artificial intelligence, again, to us, is a different thing. We're talking about basically crafting the algorithms and using the huge amount of human information to get new solutions, new content. And as you said, and kind of like using our warehouses. That's what the data centers are, right? They're warehouses,
right,
for our feelings and choices and that kind of thing. Now, ChatGPT apparently has an update, but according to this story, it's not going to be happening. Well, you're not going to see it right away.
OpenAI, the company behind the ever-popular ChatGPT artificial intelligence, is unveiling the latest version of the model, version 5.6. The company says it is the most advanced they've yet produced, but the general public won't have access to it, at least not yet. OpenAI is abiding by a request from the Trump administration to limit ChatGPT 5.6 to government and approved partners. The company says they don't want to have this be a regular thing, but they want to help the U.S. government develop its workflow for cybersecurity and AI. Eben Brown, Fox News.
So the other tech story that we can briefly mention before we go into the break is this one. This event happened on this date in 2007.
This is how you turn it on. This is your music. This is your email. This is the web. And this is a call on your iPhone.
It's kind of amazing. On this date in 2007, it revolutionized the smartphone industry with all of the features that you heard mentioned there. And you had one, right, Jamie?
Oh, no, the first ones?
Yes.
Oh, Mario, I was a
You
poor
were too
kid.
young?
I had
Shut up.
I had a Nokia. Like, you had to pay
Oh.
10 cents for every text. And when guys would text back LOL, I get so angry. I mean, you just cost me a dime. So, no, I did not get a smartphone until well into college.
Interesting. Well, what was I found fascinating, the size of the phone. You know, I had forgotten that it was pretty small.
Yeah, 3.5 inches, right?
So what is that? That's about like 60% of my current smartphone?
I just looked up, and the iPhone 16 is 6.1 inches. So it's,
Almost half.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yep.
And boy, didn't it change everything. Because once you had it, then it was no longer really a camera and a phone. It became your hub.
You'll never go back. Yep. You know, a new technology that I've introduced in my life in the past 6 months that now I'll never be able to go back.
Okay.
One of those vibrating toothbrushes.
Oh, yeah.
I never had one. I was
Yes.
against it. I thought, I'm not going to, invest in like a $70 toothbrush. That's ridiculous. I'll never go back. My teeth feel so clean. I love it.
Well, and I will tell you that I'm surprised you don't have a water pick.
Oh, great. Now, Amazon Prime days were last week, Mark.
Well, I had a dentist say, you should consider getting a water pick. It cleans your teeth better, and it's better for your gums and things like that. It's like, oh, all right. And I happened to see one right after that on sale, and so I bought it, and I have never gone back.
Really?
Yes.
All right. So it's worth it?
Well, I think what will happen is as you get older, your mouth changes, so, you might need it. So I'm just saying.
After my first pregnancy, I had 7 cavities.
No.
I know. And now, thankfully,
ouch.
after this most recent baby, I have a 4-month-old, I had none because I was way more diligent. I was sick frequently. I was way more diligent. But I wonder if I would have had a water pick or one of those electronic toothbrushes, then I probably wouldn't have had to pay the dentist bill that much.
I think you're right. And now we're going to take a break. We have coming up Andy Harrell, who is with Ann Stein and Sparler, and we're going to get his topic of the week, and Jamie will have a chance to chat law. And, of course, she's kind of, works a lot with law enforcement, so it should be an interesting conversation, and it's coming up next on WOYK.
Brakes. Make sure they're ready. If you hear squeaking, feel vibration when braking, or you just want reassurance before a road trip this summer, a quick inspection can make a big difference. It's the kind of thing that helps you relax and actually enjoy the drive. Stop by Jack G and Balvo, and they'll take care of making sure that's right for you. There are 6 great locations here for Jack G and Balvo in the York area. They want to be your perfect road trip companion this summer, and they start by making sure those brakes are working. But they also start by helping you with a pre-owned vehicle. You can go to gmbalvopreownedinventory.com right now for a hassle-free, pressure-free approach to finding that pre-owned vehicle that's just right for you. 6 great locations. And when you shop with G and Balvo, you get free state inspections for you and anyone in your family, a 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty on most vehicles, and road-worthy inspection that is unbelievable. Jack G and Balvo is ready to be your perfect road trip companion this summer. Check them out at gmbalvopreownedinventory.com, and please tell them Gary Sutton proudly sent you to Jack G and Balvo, family of dealerships.
How melodic.
I used to like this song when I was a disc jockey. It's Nana Cherry, Buffalo Stance. It had a nice, I don't know if they're going to play it. It's probably going to be. We don't have time for this. Anyway, moving along, we have Andy Harold here. And with Einstein and Sparler, one of our total sponsors here at the Gary Sutton Show. And Jamie, please welcome him he usually has something to talk about and can't wait to hear what it is.
Good morning, Andy. How are you?
I'm great, Jamie. How are you?
Well, fantastic. Woke up early this morning to come on Gary's show, and Mark is leading the way as always. You have always some new information that has to pertain to the average person about law and ways that they can be more responsible with their kind of legal footing, if you will. What do you have for us today?
Well, actually, Jamie, the last time I talked to Gary, we were talking a little bit about data centers, and I just wanted to let everybody know that there has been some new legislation introduced in Pennsylvania or suggested in Pennsylvania that would address a lot of the data center issues that people are currently concerned about. And one of those is actually seeking to place a moratorium on new data centers in townships and boroughs for 6 months. And what that would do is it would allow the local officials time to develop their own regulations. So I was talking to Gary a couple weeks ago about how in Pennsylvania you're not allowed to just outright ban an otherwise legal use. And a data center is technically a legal use. And so a lot of people say, well, let's just ban data centers in X, Y, and Z township. Well, you can't do that. But what this new law would do is it would allow townships to not approve any new data centers for up to 6 months. And it would allow the townships to then put in place their local regulations that are necessary and appropriate to sort of control how these data centers are being built within certain townships.
Now, this, you said about 6 months. If I can, just a question I have is, data centers are relatively new, but they've still been around now. They've been in the news, at least in York County, for the past, I want to say, year. And I know the York County Planning Commission put out their guidance on how local municipalities should handle their zoning. Are you seeing, will 6 months actually make a difference, or should we have more of our...
Well, yeah, you're absolutely right. The York County Planning Commission put out what they call their model ordinance on data centers, and 6 months would provide in my opinion, a sufficient time for townships, boroughs to sort of review, analyze, and consider what regulations are appropriate for that township. And of course, that's going to be a different consideration for every township, borough. What might fit a small borough in the southern end of York County might not be the same as what would fit for a larger township in, central or northern York County. And so I think that with 6 months, that would give the Board of Supervisors the appropriate amount of time to sort of look at what's out there, review other ordinances which have passed, and develop, again, sort of the tailored, correct regulations for their township. And it would give their solicitor enough time to draft that ordinance, to get it advertised, and to take action on it. So I actually think it's a really good suggestion to put this moratorium in place. Again, it's not a prohibition. It just is there to give the townships and the boroughs enough time to sort of react and get the regulations that are appropriate for that township into place.
So it sounds like at Einstein and Sparler, the attorneys there, such as yourself, Andy Harold, you not only know how to help the average person that comes off the street and with their own legal backing, but also you're up to date on local municipal code and the different jurisdictions that can reach out and also get some guidance on what to do. So Andy, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, Jamie. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, that's an interesting take on what to do. Don't ban it, just put a moratorium and learn more. Stick around. We got another hour next. We've got news now, though. It's 8 o'clock.
This is York's only local show on York's only local station. This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Listen to your show every day. It's really good. I have you guys on every morning to wake up to.
Gary Sutton, mornings 6 to 9 on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK.
All the things you're talking about are all things we're talking about. It's Main Street America every day.
And you're getting your money's worth. You're a brilliant mind, tremendous experience. You're great for the community.
The Gary Sutton Show on York's first station, WOYK.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Now, broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park, here's Gary Sutton.
Here it is, one more hour without Gary. He will be back tomorrow. Can't wait to hear about his tournament. You know, Jamie, we're getting older, and you can't hit it as far, but he
Is that a euphemism, Mark?
No, I mean, well, technically, yes. I mean, that's very good. He had to change his stroke. He got some different equipment. I hadn't bought clubs in years, and went and did that. He was doing things to try to make up for some of the power that he had lost, and he got a lot of it back, I think, and in some cases even more. And I think he was very happy with the results, and so I can't wait to hear how it kind of all worked out for him. It was kind of the culmination. He's played in a lot of tournaments, but I think this one, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm adding too much to it, but I'm kind of interested in seeing how that happens.
Yeah, and Gary's focused on his health now, more than in the past. So hopefully we've got a new and improved Gary.
Now, we're also going to be talking sports this hour with Mark Hendrickson, and I can't wait to see what you come up with. So, no, they're going to...
I found something. It has to do with baseball.
Okay, good. And the big tournament, the Travelers, it's a playoff. So Scotty Scheffler and Victor Hovland going at it in 1 hour as they try to figure out who's going to win that one. It's got to be tough for Scotty. He was ahead for most of the weekend, but Hovland kept sticking around. And then Scotty chunked a wedge like I did like 5 times yesterday. And well, anyway, let's before we go on too far, this is the 8 o'clock hour of the Monday Gary Sutton Show, and you should know
this hour of the Gary Sutton Show brought to you by Frank's Marble and Granite. They've been a family-owned and operated business here in York County since 1972, located in the Red Lion area. They combine traditional craftsmanship with the latest technology, including the area's first stone CNC machine and digital templating for a perfect fit. Are you looking for that great indoor improvement in your home, whether it's bathroom or kitchen? They operate by appointment only. Give them a call today at 717-244-2685 to set up that appointment. They're at 125 Householder Avenue in Red Lion. You can visit the web and find them at franksgranite.com. The proud sponsors of the Gary Sutton Show this hour on WOYK.
And we are going to be checking in with Major Joe Decree, retired. And Jamie, you chatted with him last time. We usually turn to the Major when overseas events start to happen. And he was not only an educator of young men at Quantico, but also served overseas in combat zones. So it'd be interesting to hear his take on some of the stuff, some of the words that we're getting out of what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz and the U.S. and Iran and negotiations and that kind of thing.
Oh, that's interesting. Major, I didn't know you also were an educator as well. Is that right?
Yeah, I taught Army ROTC at 2 places, and I taught a leadership seminar at the MBA program at University of Montana.
Wow, not everyone can be a teacher. You have to be able to, articulate your findings in a way that's consumable for an average person who don't have the same experience. So that's fantastic. Hopefully you can educate the audience on what's happening in the Middle East right now, because I think for someone like me, the ordinary American may feel far removed from the Middle East. So how does this affect the average person?
Well, it affects them economically. Unfortunately, the Middle East is the great crossroads where everything happens. So it affects us economically, just, the economic fallout from the problem. Every international situation has an economic fallout. Every political decision has an economic model that it's attached to. Otherwise, one of the problems with some of these communists, like in New York and stuff now, is there's no economic model attached to their decisions. That's why they won't happen. It's like, okay, well, we're going to rent cap and free buses. Okay, based on what economic model? Where's the money coming from? Oh, it's not coming from anywhere. Okay, oh, there you go. Fine. Good luck with your free buses.
Yeah, I just learned this morning about universal child care in New Mexico, and how they have, as long as you are a working adult or in school or looking for work, you can get up to the age of 13 your child in child care. And I'm curious to see, I'm a parent of two young boys. I'm curious to see how that impacts the social welfare of the next generation and investing in kids, but then also the expenses that it has, on the people. But anyway, you're an expert in foreign affairs, so I'm really curious to see with what's happening in Iran, if diplomacy falls through. What are some, realistic options that we have moving forward?
Well, diplomacy is already falling through. The Iranians, I believe, and this is just me. I don't know anybody in any important places anymore. I believe the Iranians have zero intention of following any deal, unless they, unless it's like the deal President Obama gave them, where they get money and they get to develop a nuclear program. Period. That's what they're after. Right now, I would not be surprised, but I don't know, if they have, I wonder who's in charge and what decision, who's making what decisions over there. Are these decisions to attack shipping and enforce, Iranian rules on the Straits? Is that coming from the person who's making other decisions in the government? Or is this thing still so very fragmented? And I would think maybe not so much at this time, but is this thing still very fragmented to where people are making random decisions that are not coordinated? Which is a worst case scenario for us and might be happening. Because you're negotiating with these people, but this guy over here is doing the thing in the Straits. Iran has zero intention of following any deal, especially one negotiated by the United States.
Yeah, it sounds like then they're lacking a lot of,
They think they can wait us out. So and just get what they want, or business as usual. We'll just go away.
When then people hear
Personally,
them,
I don't think we should stop. We should now have stopped bombing them. Once committed, let's just keep crushing it. Until
like war of attrition almost, huh?
Yep.
Just wait them out.
Yep. Until they can say, it really is in our best interest to play along. Because, in their minds, it's never in their best interest to play along. What is it they want more than anything in the world? They want the destruction of Israel. That's their foreign policy: destroy Israel. Okay. Second great foreign objective, or foreign policy objective: destroy the United States. That's their foreign policy. Okay. So this is where they're negotiating from. So they're going to accept what? Less ability to do that, because it makes peace. There's on their end, there's no incentive. They don't care if they have to sacrifice half their population in order to achieve those ends. That's acceptable to them. Has been since 1978. So there you go.
Well, when the average person hears then about the Iranian nuclear deal, what's the biggest then misconception that people have?
Oh, geez, I don't know. I live in Northwest Montana. I don't talk to a lot of people anymore. Let me think. I think the biggest misconception people have is that these things are all, done by rational people who are looking to achieve the same things. Not true. Iran's first foreign policy objective: destroy Israel. And so they can do that with a nuke. Now, I would. That's not sound policy with them, because winds in the northern hemisphere blow west to east, so they'll just irradiate everybody, what east of that. But still, that's and that's a real danger, because you have situations like this. Whenever you have regime change, you have instability, and they're probably a bit unstable right now. But that would happen whether we took out the Ayatollah or he died or something else. You always have these problems in totalitarian governments when the leader is, it dies, whether by natural causes or by political ones or some other means or assassination. You have these problems. You have moments of instability. Only the Western system doesn't have that instability when you transfer power.
I just read a book about the wars in Tripoli with Thomas Jefferson and ways that we were able to work with the pirates out there and how they were bombing merchant ships. And a misconception that I learned from learning about these the Tripolian conflicts were really that we're not even following the same playbook. You'd like to think that we have the same baseline of rules and logic that we adhere to, but you're working with literally an entirely different system, and it's difficult to project to your own goals when people, as you've already outlined in our conversation today, have entirely different goals.
Right. The other thing about the Tripoli pirates is they weren't Arabs; they're Berbers, Northern Africans. They're Berbers. They're a different culture altogether than even sub-Saharan Africa. And the Iranians are also not Arabs; they're Persian. So these things matter. We pretend that like in America we're very regionally naive. We'd like to regionalize things. I remember one of the biggest problems in the Afghanistan war was we called everything AFPAC, Afghanistan, Pakistan, because that's how we saw it. Well, I mean, the Afghanis and the Pakis did not like each other much. They didn't really agree on anything. They're very different kinds of people. The Taliban came out of the Northwest territories in Pakistan, which are notoriously lawless. It's not like the Pakis wanted that to happen, although I think they were probably happy they left Pakistan. So we tend to do this. We did the same thing in Vietnam. It's like, it's a Southeast Asia problem. Well, Thailand is different than Laos is different than Vietnam, and always has been and always will be. And we tend to look at these things. It's the Middle East. Well, I mean, really, Iran shares a border on the Far East, and they're not really. Yeah, it's not
even the same.
It's not a homogenous culture. I mean, if you look even at the Arab countries, they're not. It's not homogenous cultures. Kuwait is very different than Qatar, right? It's very different than Saudi Arabia. And we tend to, we're just dealing with those people. We want to lump them together. They're very different.
Well,
and we need to approach this thing with that kind of mindset.
Well,
the Iranians are different. The Iranians just want to hurt people.
At its core, then, is the Iran nuclear issue really about nuclear weapons, or is it really about a trust then between nations?
Nuclear weapons. You're not going to trust them. Like there's none. Like what? Why would we even try? When we have such marked differences in global objectives, how do you trust?
Yeah. Yeah,
it's not. It's about nuclear weapons. So here's the question: are you comfortable with Iran having nuclear weapons? Yes or no?
Yeah. Well, and this is something, and I'm curious to see what you think about this. What authority does one nation have over another nation to determine what kind of weapons they have?
None.
Then why are we involved?
None at all. It is global precedent, and might is right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And honestly, here's the thing: the world needs a policeman. We've always been that. Nobody else is more qualified to do it. We may be deeply flawed, problematic, but we are the most qualified to do that because we are the only country that honestly will work against our own national best interest to serve a greater best interest. And we've done that time and again. So, okay. And also we're the only country that has the muscle to back all those things up.
Right.
But we have always been that to the world. The world has asked us to do that, and we have. So what right? None. Except self-preservation, and we can enforce it, and they can't.
That was well said.
There you go.
That was a great point. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry to bring foreign policy down to just, blunt force trauma, but there we are.
Major, thank you for your time today. Calling, I didn't realize you're from the Midwest, so thank you for calling in.
I'm not. I'm from Pennsylvania. I'm a Philadelphia boy.
Oh.
I claim Pittsburgh, the better hockey team.
Well, thank you, Major. Have a great day.
All right, now take care.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting. It went in a different way. And you didn't mention gas prices at all, or, some of the other things, the pressures that are on the Trump administration to try to solve this. There's only so many times you can say that I'm going to wipe out your civilization, and then I have a deal. And then the next thing you know, it's I'm going to wipe out your civilization.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have a deal, and it's like, all right. So what's the real point here? And it's kind of hard. A lot of people scratching their heads, but here we are at 8:20. Coming up, the Revs highlights from yesterday. Boy, it looked so hopeful. Details next. Jamie Norpel, guest hosting the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Pitch to him, swings and grounds it down the third base line. It's a base hit. And Ross coming around third will score. Blackwell on his way to second. And he'll hit the brakes with an RBI double. And the Revs have struck first today. It's 1-0. Now the 2-2. Curveball, swing and a miss. He struck him out on it, swinging this time. And Rhett Koba has struck out the side for the third time in this series. First time today. He's got 5 Ks through 3 scoreless innings. The 0-1. And a swing and a high drive right field. Randolph back looking. He'll watch it fly. Brian Ray with a long opposite field home run. It's 5-0 here in the 5th. And his streaks extend. 14-game hitting streak, 33 in a row, reaching base. And he does it with an opposite field bomb in the rain here in the 5th inning in Charleston. 5-0 the lead on his 11th home run of the year. Kicks and comes home at a swing and a line drive into right field, base hit. Ross around third, and Randolph fumbles it. Rosario now busts for second and dives in ahead of the throw there. Ross was going to score anyway. It's 6-0. It's an RBI single and an error. And the Revs have put up 2 more here in the 5th.
Yes, and then it all came, the downpour happened. Charleston winning in the end, 7-6. Here's the good news. The Revs have been gone for like a week, so they're finally coming home, and they begin a 6-game homestand, and that's tomorrow night, game 1, when they host Staten Island, airtime and first pitch at around 6:30. And you should know that since they're at home, the big game, big events planned throughout the day. It's this 4th of July. This could be your home for the 4th, if you will. All kinds of events happening starting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon along the Brooks Robinson Way, and stuff on the inside, the Veterans Parade. There's the fireworks, all kinds of things going on. Check it out at YorkRevolution. Is it org? I think it's org. And just type York Revolution and hit that. There you go. Jamie Norpel here, guest host. And now one of the guest hosting duties is to talk to our sponsors. Are you ready? And is it on? There we go. Is your mic not on? There you go. Oh, all right. I want to make sure you're still there. Are you breathing?
No, I'm here.
But our sponsor this hour is Carmine Pantano, of course, head of Frank's Marble and Granite. And since you're a new homeowner, you might be in the market, right?
I am. Good morning, Carmine. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing good. Yourself?
Good. I'm actually just on your website because the name of your company is Frank's Marble and Granite. But when my husband and I renovated our house in Newberrytown, I went with quartz. But you also sell quartz, right?
We do. Yep.
That is one of the most beautiful things in my home. We knew when we were renovating it that we were going to rent it out. So we didn't invest a ton because, rental property, people don't treat it like they're the owner. However, we put in new countertops, and oh my gosh, it's like the most stately piece. It really makes a house, doesn't it?
It does. And people are doing it like in rental homes, flip homes, stuff like that. Obviously, your own home. And we're seeing everybody put, instead of where everybody used to do laminate countertops, now the standard is doing either granite or quartz.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. My husband and I are hopefully going to be settling at the end of next month on a home that was built in 1750. And oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. It's kept the historical integrity. But they have the laminate countertops. And I told my husband we're going to have to get new countertops. What would do a 1750 house justice?
Well, it depends on the overall look because you're probably going to remodel the entire area. So it depends if you want it to look old. If you want, there's ways to make it look new, even though the outside might be an older home. The inside could look more modern. You might want to make it look French country. There's just so much that you can do. Really, anywhere from granite to quartz to marble, literally anything can happen. It just depends on the overall look that you want, and then we can kind of go from there.
As long as I don't butcher it, I don't want someone coming into the home. And I am not an interior designer. I will be going and looking at your catalogs, and I even see online that you sell remnants, and so those are pieces. So those are, because I'm guessing you buy large slabs and people then only, of course, need to cut it down to the exact right size. So then people can come and how do they move these things? They have to weigh a ton, right?
Oh yeah, we have our guys that have been doing this for a long time. They are very, very skilled on how to move everything, but we also have all the best technology on equipment. So we have dollies that are motorized. We have big crane trucks. We have everything we need to get it into your home safely.
Oh, good. I have to tell you, when we installed the quartz at my old house, it was probably 3 or 4 years ago now. And when it was a hurricane that hit York County sometime in the fall, it was like September, October. And when they went to install the sink, it wouldn't go in. It was the wrong size. And the owner of this other company, which is why I'll be coming to you next time, ordered the wrong sink. And they had to go out in the middle of this hurricane, and I had to push back with the owner and say, well, I sent you pictures, like you're the ones who ordered the wrong size cut granite, or quartz. Yep. And they had to go out in the middle of the hurricane and buy me a new sink. And I love the big single bays, like the single bowls, the big ones. And the only one that would fit is 2 small ones. And I told my husband that, like, I do not like it at all, but I wasn't going to tell this guy, no, I want a brand new quartz. Like, it just seemed a little expensive, for a rental property, and thought, oh, I'll deal with it. But moving forward, if that happens again, like, I want my big sink.
Yes. And that's the most popular right now is big single bowl sinks. Yep.
Interesting. What are some other trends that you've seen over? Just curious. Like, what's popular right now? Is white in? Is white out?
They say white is going out, but I don't know that I see that. I mean, maybe we're starting to see whites with like browns, some warm tones added to them. So we're starting to see a little bit of warmth coming back into play. But still, white backgrounds are still popular, white and gray.
That is the one piece of advice I got with renovation is to pick as much dirt-colored features as possible. So the grout in my bathroom and my tile is dirt-colored. So I will be moving forward for this new house. I'll be looking for either whatever you guys suggest, but something that looks like it could be dirty, and we'll find me out.
Yes. Yep, we can help you there for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And it was great meeting you, by the way, a few weekends ago at the Fields of Honor concert.
Yes, it was finally in person. I love it. Yep. And I see you just you just joined Buy Local, so I appreciate that.
I literally just did that in the last hour. Yep. Thank you, Carmine.
Yep, that came through, so we'll be doing lots of stuff together, I'm sure.
Oh, fantastic. Have a great week.
Yeah. Thank you. You too.
That was great. It's dirty, huh?
Pick the color of dirt for your grout.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. On that note, Mark Hendrickson up next. We're going to talk sports from the weekend. And as we have the last half hour in our sights of the Jamie Norpel guest host version of the Gary Sutton Show, it is 8:32.
I don't know why I said the things I said. Pride's like a knife, it can cut deep inside. Words are like weapons, they wound sometimes. I didn't really mean to hurt you. I didn't want to see you go. I know I made you cry, but baby, if I could turn back time, if I could find a way, I'd take back those words that have hurt you. You'd stay if I could reach the stars. I'd give them all to you. Then you love me like you used to do. If I could turn back time, my world was shattered, I was torn apart. Like someone took a knife and drove it deep in my heart. You walk out that door, I swore that I didn't care, but I lost it.
All right, enough to share. All right. It is 1989 bumper music here, still on the Gary Sutton Show. We like that. And Cher, one of her, I'm going to say, wasn't it her last top hit? I think I Believe came after that. So, but that was a good one. If I could turn back time, and Lord knows, Jamie, she has tried.
You can't tell. I mean, the woman is, in her 70s, and she just looks fantastic.
Well, I will tell you that she's a little bit older now. And I saw her on Saturday Night Live. They had her as a guest, I think guest artist, and maybe also, I think just guest artist. And it's catching up.
Well, I just looked. She's 80 this year.
Yes. So, I think you can only push it off so far. You can't, there's only so many wrinkles you can take out. Anyway, we were trying to get Mark Henderson, and it's just not Hendrickson. It's not working for some reason. And so we're going to move on. And one thing I wanted to bring up was your conversation about your comments about your children's grandmother, because you said your husband's mother is nearby.
Yeah, well, his grandmother, actually. So
his grandmother.
Yeah.
Okay. So she comes by a lot, but is it unannounced or?
Unannounced, lovingly unannounced.
Yes. But I mean, you have learned, even though it can be inconvenient at times, you've learned to appreciate that.
Yeah, I have these. Yeah, so we actually right now are living in the same apartment complex with my husband's grandmother.
So she's really nearby.
And we share a wall. Yeah,
I see.
Yeah, we hear all her vacuuming at 7:00 in the morning.
Oh my.
Yep, it is. Yeah, and so she has the most sweetest heart. She is so kind. She also stops over unannounced quite frequently, which isn't usually a big deal. I want to have one of those open door policies. When I'm breastfeeding or pumping, though, it's a little bit like, especially because you can't usually hear someone on the other side saying, "Give me a minute." They just kind of walk right in. So I've gotten to know my husband's family very intimately.
Yes, and that can be a problem. But I think the fact that she can give you a break every now and then,
I know,
and build those relationships with, because so does that make you it's their great grandmother, right?
Right. Oh, my husband's great grandmother is still alive.
No kidding.
Yes, and they didn't have children particularly young. They're just extremely healthy and they're older. Yeah.
Now, do you know yours?
I did. Yeah, growing up, I had my great grandparents.
Yeah. See, I remember my great grandfather and his wife, but they were very old. I want to say not like today's old, if you know what I mean. They were not active, and they just looked like 100 years old, but they weren't.
Right.
They weren't.
As a child, though.
Yes,
perception.
exactly. So, but it's kind of crazy that we are living longer. Some people are living longer, but I wanted you to reiterate that story about the grandma, because it could be different.
Well, so
wait, it could be different. How so? Well, Check this out.
Lillian Droniak, better known online as Grandma Droniak, says her Connecticut retirement community warns she will be evicted if she keeps hosting parties for fellow residents and serving alcohol. In a video posted to social media, Droniak reads the warning letter, tears it up, and says, "I can do whatever I want." The internet personality, who has millions of followers on TikTok and Instagram, says she pays about $12,000 a month to live there and insists the gatherings are just friends getting together to drink and gossip. So far, there is no word on whether the retirement home plans to follow through with that eviction. Angelo Bavaro, Fox News.
See, so, it wouldn't be, vacuuming at 7:30 in the morning or 7 in the morning. It would be partying till all hours. So it could be worse.
Isn't that why people join 55 and over communities, because they don't want to hear the parties? It sounds like then there's a lot of still some people living out their glory days, even into their 60s and 70s.
Well, it's interesting how things have changed, because back when I was a kid, there were old folks' homes, but, it wasn't this 55 plus community. So, there wasn't... at least not in my memory. And I know quite a few people who, they like living with people their own age. But they're very, very active. I guess that's probably the difference between back then and now. They're playing pickleball. They're, on the run all the time. And they're really making use of the golden years, I guess, is what they call
There's no excuse to be old anymore. There's so many different activities. Even, Mark, I was telling you earlier how my husband and I went to an auction and purchased a house. And the majority of the people there were all older folks. And I'm convinced they were gawkers and curious neighbors to find out who was going to be
Isn't that interesting?
This couple that's moving into our neighborhood.
Yeah, because why would they want to buy a home?
Oh, it was so funny. The house got down, half of the listing price, and they still weren't bidding. They were not there to bid. They were not there to, which is good for us. My husband and I ended up, purchasing the home, but they were all older. And I just told my husband last night, I said, in this new community we're moving to, I think I found my people, like older people that love history. Like,
there you go.
Yes, I'll find my people
who are history. Actually, for what that's worth. Other things that we could check out today. Let's look at some health news. We're still in the month of June.
This is House Call for Health. It's Deafblind Awareness Week. The Helen Keller National Center for Deafblind Youths and Adults leads the national observance of it in the last week of June. And this year is the 42nd year. An estimated 2.4 million Americans have combined hearing and vision loss. This year's theme is Connected by Touch, breaking barriers, building bridges, because touch is the foundation of connection for the deaf-blind community, like pro-tactile language, tactile sign language, and haptics to Braille. You can get more information and resources at helenkeller.org. Or for more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
So let's move along and talk a little bit about what's happened on this date. And I alluded to this earlier. It happened 63 years ago today on this date, 1963. And I think that most Americans had not heard of the Beatles. I would say 90% had not heard of them. And they, of course, John Lennon and Paul McCartney had written dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of songs. And you are familiar with them, aren't you? Oh, okay.
I do know them and share.
Okay, there we go. All right. But what was interesting is the very first song that John Lennon and Paul McCartney wrote was a song that I think they made into a hit, From Me to You. But what's interesting is the first time it charted here, it was not by the Beatles. It was by, I don't think you can't guess, but let's see if the audience can guess. I don't think you could pick that out of a lineup, but the singer there is Del Shannon, and he was looking to extend his career he had one really big hit, and, it's obviously a good song from Me to You, but before the Beatles, it was released on this date, and I don't think it really did a whole lot for Del Shannon, but certainly for Lennon and McCartney, it was a harbinger of things to come. We do have something to pass along. You were at an auction. Had you ever been at an auction before, Jamie?
Yeah, when I was moving out of my mom's house when I was 20, that's how I afforded a lot of my furniture.
Ah, okay. Well, we have a great relationship with Thomasville Country Auctions, and Gary, very close.
Coming up this afternoon at 4 p.m. at Thomasville Country Auction, they have a hit and miss engine, dolls, Bose radio, and NASCAR at the big sale this afternoon. Hey, all you have to do to find out what's on that sale is go to thomasvillecountryauction.com. Go down and hit auction date on the left-hand side and look for June 29th, and you'll see every item up for bid this afternoon. And, man, they have an array of great stuff out there for you. Now, maybe you're ready to have your own sale. Jack and Cheryl Hooks are the ones to facilitate that for you. Give them a call today at 717-764-5403. Have them come out to your home, talk about the sale, all the things that are involved, including hauling the items from your house to their auction house, and then getting on the right sale or sales that best benefit you. And if you're selling your real estate, Cheryl can do that for you and save you lots and lots of money. So what are you waiting for? Head on out there this afternoon at 4 p.m. to Thomasville Country Auction for the sale, or get on the line right now at 717-764-5403. Jack and Cheryl Hooks, Thomasville Country Auction, Route 30 West at the railroad tracks in Thomasville.
So when we come back, we'll do a little cleaning up, give Jamie a chance to, I don't know if she, I do so much talking when Gary's not here, and I'm not used to doing that, so at least not on the air. But give her a chance to have the last word, so to speak, after the break. As the Gary Sutton Show wrapping up for a Monday momentarily, it's 8:48.
Let's do it.
Yeah, if my back didn't hurt, I think I would be moving around a little bit, but not after this weekend. A lot of running around. Here we are, the Gary Sutton Show. So, Jamie, what do you think? You've posted a couple of times now in the last week, and you're getting the hang of it?
Yeah, filling in for Gary and speaking with you, Mark, I realize how I need to buff up my nouns. I remember concepts and ideas, but I need to remember names and places and dates, like the hard facts, you know, of things. So I need to either keep better notes or, because I hate being that guy or, that book or what was that called or messing up my Monty Python. Like, you were here on the 6 a.m. We were talking about our favorite Mel Brooks movies. And of course, I like Young Frankenstein and I mixed up Monty Python.
Yes, I have done that myself. So not to worry. I mean, these things are going to happen. It's a part of getting older because your brain holds so much information and you think you can pull it up automatically. I'm really good with faces, but I'm really bad with names. So that's a hard thing to get. You might have the dates, but if you can't match it up with some of the other stuff, Hey, let's talk about movies. Well, you mentioned movies. Let's check the box office for last weekend.
Supergirl failed to soar, opening to just $38 million domestically and $68 million worldwide.
This does not look like this is going to end well for you guys.
It's a disappointing debut for the big-budget DC superhero film, which cost roughly $170 million to make. And the winner, and still champ for a second straight weekend, is Toy Story 5.
You got a friend in me.
The Disney Pixar sequel pulled in $70 million in North America and nearly $160 million worldwide, and it puts it on pace to become one of the year's biggest hits. Carmen Roberts, Fox News.
So, do you like to cry at movies?
I don't like to. Sometimes I find myself.
Well, I mean, if it's a good story and all, I mean, it's okay to do that,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
I had a friend recommend to me a movie. It was on Netflix, I believe. And it was, you know what? Why don't I just get the name rather than trying to pull it up? I remember Bright Creatures was in it. Yes. But it's called Remarkably Bright Creatures. All right. So this is it's kind of like a romantic comedy, but it involves, believe it or not, grandmothers. So I'm just going to leave that there because I'm not going to say any more. But it was recommended to me, and I don't like crying in movies.
You did cry then?
I did.
Well, it looks like it got an 85 on Rotten Tomatoes, which speaks, highly. And it looks like it's the woman who played Forrest Gump's mother is the main character.
Yeah. Sally Fields, yes. And she was terrific in it. And it is kind of the thing we like about romantic comedies is it doesn't matter how you resolve it as long as there's a happy ending, right? And that's kind of what happens in this movie. You get your happy ending.
It's a feel good then?
Absolutely.
I see that Kathy Baker is in it. I love her in Edward Scissorhands.
Yes, it makes you smile. It makes you smile. Now, coming up next, a poll on 4th of July. Details right around the corner. Just very quickly.
The Gary Sutton Show, the Main Street of York, is brought to you by our presenting sponsors, kindnessworldwide.org. What are you going to do to bring more kindness into your sphere of influence today? Check them out at kindnessworldwide.org. And Anstein and Sparler, attorneys at law, 117 East Market Street in York. You can give them a call today at 717-846-8811. Their primary area of focus since 1937 has been estate planning, the state administration, family law, and municipal law and military law. And they're ready to help you. They're open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. Anstein and Sparler, attorneys at law, and Kindness Worldwide, proud sponsors of the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
All right, so let's listen to this poll. It says it was about 4th of July, but I think it's some other aspect.
To identify the top places for the Star-Spangled occasion, Wallet Hub compared the largest U.S. cities using 18 metrics ranging from average beer and wine prices to the duration of fireworks shows and the weather forecast, finding Las Vegas to be the best city to celebrate Independence Day this year, followed by New York City, Orlando, Los Angeles, and Minneapolis. ridiculous. According to the personal finance website, Americans spent nearly $3 billion on fireworks last year and plan to spend $9.4 billion on 4th of July food this year. But 57% say they'll spend less than they did last July, with nearly 3 in 5 saying high gas prices are affecting their holiday plans. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
I do want to make sure that you know that here, he'll do it.
This hour of the Gary Sutton Show brought to you by Frank's Marble and Granite. They've been a family-owned and operated business here in York County since 1972, located in the Red Lion area. They combine traditional craftsmanship with the latest technology, including the area's first stone CNC machine and digital templating for a perfect fit. Are you looking for that great indoor improvement in your home, whether it's bathroom or kitchen? They operate by appointment only. Give them a call today at 717-244-2685 to set up that appointment. They're at 125 Householder Avenue in Red Lion. You can visit the web and find them at franksgranite.com. The proud sponsors of the Gary Sutton Show this hour on WOYK.
So let's talk quickly about what's happening with today. It's camera day. I assume you'll be taking pictures.
Always.
Yes. It is also Hug Holiday. Please ask. Ask in advance. It is Please Take My Children to Work Day. Kind of a take on, the kids are back from they're off. They're on vacation. It is Waffle Iron Day. You said that waffles are your favorite food. So are you going to be creating something for dinner, or you made chocolate chip cookies?
So, I did,
and
from scratch.
You're a pretty good baker, so they were great.
I have a recipe from scratch waffles where you actually separate the eggs and whip the egg whites to make it that fluffy meringue to fold it into my waffles.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Now, in the time we have remaining, we always usually try to get to at least one fact during the 3-hour show. So this is a very, very limited thing, but in less than a minute, what can I tell you? How many lightning bolts strike the earth every single day?
Every day?
Yeah, a round number.
Oh, 10.
8.6 million.
What?
Yes. 8.6 million. That's roughly 100 every second. And the average lightning flash would light a 100-watt bulb for how long?
Oh, well, now I don't know. How long?
3 months.
Wow.
Well, Jamie, thank you so much for being our guest host. Gary will be back tomorrow. I look forward to the next time and that you come back and you have homework. So watch that movie AI, and we will chat at that time. Thanks again. You did a great job. And that's going to do it for Gary's show. He'll be back tomorrow. Yay, it's 9 o'clock.